Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Clan War School, and we're going to take a look at our first loss in quite a while actually. This was a pretty solid clan that we faced, but there was definitely some mistakes that led to us losing. As you can see, we have quite a bit of green. This was a bad streak for us, but we turned it around. So yeah, this was a solid clan. I think they're kind of an international clan. Some English-speaking things going on, but I don't know what language this is. Maybe Spanish? Not sure. But anyway, they just got more Town Hall 9 3-stars than us, and that's usually what we excel in. But you can see I forgot to change my decoy base. This is just kind of my base that I throw up before the war. It's kind of like an anti-2-star base, and it got 3-starred pretty easily. I have an anti-3 base that is by no means fantastic, but it usually gets the job done and at least throwing off the attackers. So you can see that we were even in Town Hall 10 stars. So we lost this war at Town Hall 9, and we didn't 3-star this guy. You can actually see that I messed up on an attack. It was not a difficult base by any means. You can see it was pretty underleveled actually. And I just made the wrong choice with the army composition. And it was I'm not going to show you guys. It's not, you can't learn from it. It was a bad attack. But I will show you guys this 3-star on a higher base. So this was kind of redemption for me. So there's single bombs, I think, here. I don't know if I actually went over the other two, but probably here and here or something. And so I just decided 2 golems coming in, just a simple attack, eliminate the point defense, keep tanking, and I actually tried to keep my queen up, which I did pretty well, because she obviously stays alive. And that's all about timing your hog deployment. So I let the funnel develop. There's lots of high HP buildings, so I stuck my queen down as soon as possible. And when you do that, guys, if you keep her alive, she's doing damage on something for the duration of the attack. And you can't, there's nothing that is better than that. That's just great. So stick the king down. The golems are doing good tanking, so I don't need to use the king's ability. The queen isn't even shooting the king yet. Right now I rage him up because I think the dragon is gonna do some serious damage, which he does, and I pop the queen's ability because I'm gonna start my hog deployment. And I hate it when you're like in the middle of deploying your hogs, then you see your queen being hit by a dragon. So that just kind of interrupts the raid a little bit. So I kind of split up the hog deployment here. This is something that I like to do so that I target as many defense as possible. Then I drop down the poison spell. With the new poison spell mechanics, it takes a little bit longer for the skellies to go down. But my hogs were stuck on that expo for a while, so most of the skellies did go down. And there's another bomb that triggers, and I get a little bit lucky with the split because they kind of sacrifice on this bomb there. And that was great. And then I have a big group of hogs left. Queen's still doing work, and I had 2 wizards to clean up. And I end the raid right on the Barb King, which is another good thing. And there's no high HP storages near there, so like my hogs, if I had less hogs, sometimes they can get stuck on storages while the king's beating on them, and that can be a bad sign for your raid. So I should have dropped the wizard down here instead of both up here, but that's just nitpicking. This is a pretty decent raid. By no means a fantastic base, but it was a better base than the one that I failed on, so it was kind of redemption in a way. So let's take a look at Michael's 3-star up here. And he brings the same attack. You guys have seen it before. This is a very consistent attack, especially the way he does it. And yeah, he just knocks it out of the park on this one. I was surprised that he didn't come in from the top, which would have eliminated some serious double bomb possibilities, but you'll see at the end of the raid what ends up happening instead. One thing that I noticed is that the Quakes didn't do anything to the heroes, and that makes sense because that's what the poison is for. I mean, it's not for the heroes, but the poison does do damage to heroes, and so that was just kind of something that I thought was interesting. So he comes in, lots of wizards. I think he actually saves one for cleanup this time, which was great, because he's had some close raids where he lost on time. And keeping that dragon in the poison spell, I mean, it'll end up doing a significant amount of damage. And already, I didn't even know if he had taken the enemy queen out at that point. He drops his hogs. That's very key for this attack style, because the way he does it ensures the 2-star. And again, he saves those 2 hogs in the bag. He always does that. I don't know how it can be so consistent, but it's great. So yeah, he still has that wizard in the bag. That's great. He could drop it down here to start cleaning up, but he's probably worrying about these double giant bombs here. But you can see the queen and the golem and the wizards take out that Tesla, and that effectively eliminates these giant bombs. There's definitely 2 giant bombs there. If he had gone over them, it would have been the end of the raid. But instead, his queen picks it off, still has the ability up, which is fantastic, and finally drops those cleanup wizards down here. And I'll fast forward because it does cut it a little close in the raid, but it was a solid raid. This is a high level base. Not a great layout, but it's a good raid. So now let's take a look at a top Town Hall 10 2-star, and these are very important. I mean, if the other clan could only 1-star our Town Hall 10s, then we would have tied. So it is very important to consistently 2-star Town Hall 10s. And that was a high value Quake spell. It weakened all these high HP storages, got the Inferno Tower and the Town Hall in one Quake spell. So that's a thing that you guys can look for when you're planning out your raids. So JK is just kind of creating a funnel for his golems by taking out all the defense that would make his golems take a weird path, and he doesn't actually have any wall breakers because he wanted as much troop space as possible. So but he has enough damage to take out the walls manually. And one thing is that P.E.K.K.A. in there, the P.E.K.K.A. does get roasted by the Inferno Tower, I think, eventually. But the nice touch to this raid was the couple of witches that he ends up dropping right here. And that really finishes off the raid because there was 2 single Infernos. So if he had gone like Golem and P.E.K.K.A. heavy, which he did bring a P.E.K.K.A. and I think 4 Golems, but that's kind of standard. It's these Skellies that distract the Inferno Tower in the end. And then he delays his queen drop, which was great, because the town hall was like, it was for sure going down, but the 50% is what you have to fight for. And with a full health queen, I mean, if you can't get 2% with a full health queen and an ability, then I don't know. I don't think that's possible. And he even saved some troops for like extra protection if needed. And it did kind of get close, but it was a solid raid. I think he ends up getting 55%. Kind of cutting it close, but not really. Solid raid. Okay, let's take a look at one more 3-star by Mike. Here it is. So this is just a pretty solid attack on a lower level base, but this is just kind of illustrating a reliable, effective strategy just for bases like this when you're in a war with kind of rushed bases, which we weren't, but at this point we were trying to get whatever 3-stars we could. And yeah, so only a level 6 queen. Doesn't need a whole lot of firepower to take that out. 2 golems is great because there's 3-point defense here, and you want to be tanking for these expos, and then you'll just kind of sneak in with your hogs and take out the rest of the defense. So already going in and creating a nice funnel. Drops the king a little early, but level 19 king and a dragon that's almost dead, not too much damage can be done to him. So the level 6 queen just gets melted, saves 3 wizards, for the back end, which is great. Always have to save wizards for cleanup, guys. That's super important. And right now he starts his hog deployment. Drops a giant to tank. And that's a good giant. Lots of value from it. That's a dangerous. If he had level 4 hogs, his raid would have been over. The wizard tower giant bomb combo is really deadly. But right here is why I showed the raid, because of his patience on the heal spell. He could have done what a lot of people do and just dropped it immediately, but he waited until it was by the next bomb location, and that's really important. So his hogs go around, and he drops his cleanup wizards early, which is great. And he still has 1 heal in the bag for the last bomb location. So I'll fast forward as the raid finishes up, and still has queen at half health and lots of hogs. So great raid. Just kind of a solid strategy for bases like this. So that's it, guys. Unfortunately, we did lose, and we're in another difficult war, but hopefully we have better luck on this one, and it's actually a matchup in our favor. They also have a Town Hall 8. So I'll get that video out to you guys tomorrow probably, and I hope you had a good weekend.